Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the fourth and final game of today's broadcast here for the Fnatic Raid Call HoN Open number 2. I'm Zyori, and now joining me is a Mr. Cat Lomain for just a little tiny pinch of that competitive insight that we're all so desperate for here in our Heroes of Newerth casting. So welcome, or thank you for joining us, for sticking around throughout the obnoxious music during the break. But this is going to be our last and final game here in the round of 8 in this tournament. Day 2 will be beginning with the semifinals. Tomorrow. So of course, here we do have Black Fade on the Hellborn side, facing off against Team Bipolar here on the Legion side. So before we talk too much about these teams, Mr. Cat Lomain, how art thou today, my friend?
Hey, Cat Lomain. I'm doing pretty fine. Excited to do this cast. Yeah, that's pretty much about it.
That's great to hear, man. That is absolutely great to hear. So, I guess where to start? How was your trek through tournament today? I know you were participating as a ringer today. So, what happened with you guys? Which team were you ringing for?
I ringed for Shame on You. Just a couple of friends. Nothing too special. We lost kind of because our communication wasn't there. So. It was not surprising we lost, so it was just for fun only.
Did you have fun at least?
Yeah.
Good.
Very fun.
Okay. Well, then good. Then you won. You in the end, you really did win, so it's okay. Absolutely okay. So, I had something else here, and I totally am blanking. Regardless, guys, like I said, this is going to be the last game of the day, so hopefully you enjoy it. We did just see HoN Portal versus Vitriolic, and of course, Portal did come out ahead. And all of these VODs should be available if you're just tuning in or just managed to catch this game. These VODs should be posted on honcast.com pretty soon, assuming I'm recording these VODs properly, which I think I am, but you never know until you actually go to look at them, and you know they're all sorts of screwed up with commercials in and out and Cat Lomains all over the place, and what are you going to do? So anyhow, let's take a look at the bans here now. The picking phase has begun. Black Fade over on the Hellborn side. Their banner, Mr. Kezu, going to start off that first ban. He's going to start off with Pebbles, followed up by Tempest, Magebane, Meraxes, Keeper of the Forest, Parasite, Ophelia, and Silhouette. So, Mr. Lomain, what are you thinking about these bans here, good sir?
These are pretty standard bans. I mean, maybe this Silhouette ban is like a bit off, but she's been a hot hero lately. I think she farms really fast and can be scary late game.
Yes,
really good. But
yes,
yeah.
Silhouette is definitely the talk of the town right now. She has been all over the place. I've seen her in more games than I haven't, thanks to Mr. Moon Meander starting a new trend. I mean, what do you make of Silhouette? Do you think she's broken? I mean, we see Silhouette and Magebane banned here, so. I mean, are they on equal level? Do you think they can both take over a game at equal point, or is Magebane still kind of the mecca of hard carries compared to someone like Silhouette?
I don't know. Magebane is always the hardest carry. I mean, it feels like nothing beats him late game because his blink, he can just, I mean, pick off one hero and then just instantly blink to the other hero. Like, so easy to kill heroes late game with him.
Yeah, I mean, you're exactly right. He is. There's just been some debate about Silhouette as far as where is she on the scale of carries. Is she a hard carry? Is she sort of a semi carry? Is she kind of somewhere in the middle? Is something? It's quite the hot debate. But the picks are underway here. The other thing of the bans, of course, sticking out at me. We see the 4 prime junglers banned. Although last game we did see Wild Soul, so I'm not too eager to say most of the junglers are banned. Legionnaire and Wild Soul are still on the board. Certainly could be viable picks here. But going through to the picks, as let's see who had that first pick, and it looks like first pick did go to Bipolar, and they first picked Nymphora, which is sort of strange here. Of course, Pebbles is banned. Armadon is still on the board, though they didn't pick him up in that second round. So I mean, what do you make of this Nymphora first pick here?
Nymphora is a pretty good hero. I know my clan hates to play against it because you can never like go push a lane alone because there will always be like an Nymphora porting to you. But I don't know in this situation because they kind of gave away Tundra and DS. DS is like most of the time banned because he's very strong. And I was about to say I think we were gonna see like a Balfagor DS setup here, and sure we did.
Sure enough, we do, and you are exactly right. So, I mean, you're right, Nymphora is a powerful hero. That ultimate can be powerful and hard to counter, but in my mind, she's a hero that is, her power lies within her ability to set up a really strong dual lane. You know, you put her with a Pebbles or an Armadon, and she's insane. I would love to see them try and pick up an Armadon, but as we see here, Jeraziah right-clicked for that last pick on Black Fade, and Electrician here right-clicked for one of the last picks for Bipolar. Not a big surprise, of course, with the Jeraziah on the board. Can never hurt to pick up Electrician, especially if you don't have last pick. So, I mean, what are you thinking here with these last two picks? Is Electrician the way to go, or is it maybe that Armadon, or maybe even Valkyrie Bubbles, as they're suggesting here?
I'm not really sure. I think Valkyrie would be fine, but I don't think they should pick up Bubbles, to be honest. They need something to stand in front. Of course, they have Cthulhu Font, but I mean, it's not enough in my opinion.
Yeah, and that's definitely, I mean, you have to also look at how are they going to lane this, I guess. I guess Nymphora Cthulhu Font isn't so bad, so if you're solo Bubbles, Valkyrie Magnus, and Cthulhu Font Nymph, so that will indeed finish off their roster. So at the very least, they have one super powerful lane with the Valkyrie and Magnus. Bubbles a strong solo, I guess, kind of what could be the weak link here, at least in the laning phase, the Nymphora Cthulhu Font lane, but I don't know, unlimited mana on the Elephant doesn't really sound too bad. The Hellborn side looks like they could still be opting for that Jeraziah last pick. I mean, what are you making of this Hellborn team so far?
That is a very, very aggressive lineup. Like, they're just going to be pushing towers and ganking everyone. But, I mean, they don't have, like, huge initiation, to be honest, so that's where the Legion shines, I guess. If they get to initiate before the Hellborn team does, like, they can win a team fight. But if Hellborn manages to stay alive after all the burst from Legion, or Dark Lady, actually.
I was not expecting that that one there. That's... Wow. So
No. It's pretty good against Magnus, Bubbles, and Valkyrie, because they all have escapes, but Dark Lady silences, like, forever, and they can't escape. Like, it's pretty good.
That's a good point. But I guess my question is, does Dark Lady fit into this roster? And so we look at their lineup. I think you could argue yes. You know, you mentioned the Balfagor Demented Shaman lane, obviously very powerful. Tundra is a great solo hero, and then that leaves Dark Lady and Glacius together. So, you know, by all means, a nice range support babysitter, and Dark Lady, and I mean, even Dark Lady Glacius can be a nice aggressive lane early on with the silence. I mean, Dark Lady is definitely scary in lane, at least in the early levels of a match. So, interesting. Some interesting picks. I was not expecting that Dark Lady curveball, so I have to admit I'm a little bit pumped up here. It's been quite a while since I've seen a Dark Lady. Overall, though, I mean, is this a game where you would feel confident saying one team has outdrafted the other, or do you think both sides have a fairly well-rounded team?
No, it's pretty even drafted, to be honest. No team has, like, the better team. It all comes down to who plays better in this game, I think. Who makes the best decisions.
Yeah, I would tend to think so as well. I mean, they both have... I mean, both teams have pretty strong lane combos, and both have pretty prominent solo heroes. My question, though, given that there's no junglers at all in this game, both teams have pretty normal kind of a 2-1-2 setup. Do you think we're going to see a 2-1-2 across the board here? Or are we going to see that kind of funky, you know, 1-2-2-1, 2-2-1?
Legion might end up tri-laning with Nymphora, Valkyrie, and Magnus. For Hellborn, I'm pretty confident it's going to be a 2-2-1 or 2-1-2.
Yeah, I mean, it would be interesting to see a Tundra versus Bubbles 1v1 mid. I don't know that I've ever seen that solo mid matchup before, so that'll certainly be interesting to see. But yeah, I mean, both teams have pretty solid laning phase, but there are definitely some differences. And one of them you pointed out was that lack of initiation on the Hellborn side, which is something the Legion team has plenty of. Bubbles is a hero with that huge area of influence, especially once he picks up that portal key. That initiation is there. Magnus as well. I mean, even Nymphora with that ultimate, you can find some pretty kitschy positions and also set yourself up to be, you know, in a pretty good position to initiate some fights. The Hellborn side, though, they do, I guess, shine in other areas. They've got the hard carry, so they will kind of inevitably win the late game eventually if the game goes on long enough. And, of course, with Balfagor, they have huge, huge, huge pushing power. Not a hero to be underestimated. I guess this opens up a good opportunity to talk about Balfagor a little bit. What do you make of him? You know, we don't see him too often on the competitive scene, though we have a little bit over the past few days. I believe we did see him run in Dream HoN once or twice. What do you think? Is he underrated, overrated, just extraordinarily situational? Do you guys ever run him in your team?
No, we never run him in our team. Maybe once, but it didn't go too well. I'd say he's very good if you pair him up with a Demented Shaman, because those minions with Demented Shaman is so, like, it does so much damage. Like,
yeah.
But he can push towers. I mean, it's pretty good for your team. His ultimate is like overpowered, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially when he gets like the early farm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's a good hero.
Yeah, no, definitely right. Not a hero to be underestimated. You know, I look at him and think pushing power, because those minions just, I mean, they hit so hard. He can obliterate towers, especially if there's a Ring of the Teacher down, and then especially once that Soul's Bulwark comes out. The pushing power is insane. But like you said, laning him with Demented Shaman opens up a whole nother door. As you noted in that picking phase, Demented Shaman tends to be banned more often than not, so that just gets rid of this lane combo, because Demented Shaman is such a good hero. You know, it kind of makes sense. We talked about that 2-1-2, and interestingly enough, the Hellborn side, the team not to do the 2-1-2, we are going to see a solo Bubbles versus the Glacius Dark Lady combo in the mid lane, so naturally, Bubbles going to really struggle quite a bit, and I think this Dark Lady is going to have a grand old time farming away here in the mid lane. Down to the bottom is going to be a Demented Shaman Balfagor facing off the against the Valkyrie Magnus lane. So these are kind of the two scariest lanes in the game, I guess, in this match, you could say. You know, both of them I look at, it's like, oh, that's kind of scary, but at the same time, you know, I don't know, it's interesting that they're up against each other. It's going to make it much more difficult for this Valkyrie Magnus lane to be super effective, because Balfagor is super tanky, and Demented Shaman is, you know, with a heal and Unbreakable, can be very difficult to kill with this super aggressive lane. I mean, what do you make of this lane here? Who do you think is going to come out on top? I mean, we're even seeing some action here with some back and forth engage. Who do you give the edge to in this dual lane situation?
I give the edge to BxF's dual lane, since DS is really good against Magnus. Because the Legion, if they want to score kills, they have to kill all the creeps before they go in. They tried that once, but they didn't succeed. Because the DS heal, he will just heal the creeps, and Magnus will just like instantly die almost. So.
Yeah. Oh, well, there you go. And I mean, and plus Balfagor being so tanky, I mean, that sort of forces them to target Demented Shaman. So, and that does make things a little more difficult. I mean, and even Balfagor, he can still put out a bit of damage on his own between the minions and the Regurgitate. He can be quite the powerful hero. So. Anyhow, let's take a look at what's going on up in the top lane here. And, of course, we do have the 1v2. Not quite a suicide lane, but short lane for the solo Tundra on the Hellborn side, facing off against the Cthulhuphant Nymphora lane. And we see Nymphora is going to roam towards the mid a little bit. Perhaps she did pick up the Illusion Rune, sort of trying to decide where she wants to end up here. And may actually try and set something up. Bubbles going to get frozen by Glacius, and Glacius up very far forward. He's going to be in big trouble. The Zeal Stun actually not... Oh, it is going to connect on the way back. And Bubbles will pick up that Bloodlust kill, but Bubbles going to get taken down, so LesQQ on that Dark Lady is going to be able to find a positive amongst a series of negatives here, and he will be able to get that kill and survive. So, I guess a fair exchange for the Legion team, able to pick up the Bloodlust kill, but still not so good giving Dark Lady a kill early on.
Yeah, indeed. That was, I say BxF won that fight. I mean, that small fight. Yeah. I mean... Since the one who got the Bloodlust died, I mean, he barely got any gold. And Dark Lady got a kill, so...
No, you're exactly right. I mean, you make a very strong point. You look at that GPM chart, and it's kind of interesting. You know, we see Dark Lady, the only one farming really well, and everyone else just down around this 100 GPM mark. But meanwhile, on the Legion team, it's a pretty staggered effect. You know, Cthulhuphant kind of free farming up in the top, and everyone else... you know, within some degree around that. Yeah, down in the bottom lane here, we do see a kill up onto Magnus. So, you know, like you said, that edge kind of does go to the Hellborn side, and they do turn it around. So now Balfagor's farm going to be improved slightly here, and of course with Magnus dead, we'll be able to pick up a little bit of additional farm he otherwise wouldn't have had. In the mid lane, we see more action. Bubbles in trouble, but Dark Lady not going to dive the tower much more than that. Is going to be able to survive, but Bubbles actually going to pop back out. Is Dark Lady going to be able to come in? Nope, thought he might be able to set it up, but the cooldowns were not quite there, so Bubbles is going to go ahead and sip up that bottle. and should be A-OK. Glacier is going to kind of do the same here, going to pop a potion or two, and they're going to be in good shape. So Dark Lady's still farming very, very nicely, but Cthulhuphant basically free farming up in the top with an Amphora Babysitter. Tundra getting some farm when he can, doing what Tundra does best here in the 2v1 lane, but Cthulhuphant leading the way with flying colors. What do you make of that? I mean, is that something to be feared, or does the Hellborn team need to worry about kind of doing a lane shuffle to try and shut down Cthulhu a little bit, or is he a hero you really don't need to be too worried about free farming?
I'm never afraid of a free farming Cthulhuphant. When I'm afraid of Cthulhuphant, it's when you go 2v2, not 2v1. So
yeah.
I don't think BxF should be afraid, especially when their Dark Lady is free farming mid lane.
Yeah,
and bottom is slightly winning, I guess.
Yeah, so I mean, I guess at the very least you could argue bottom's breaking even. They got that kill, but they're not farming quite as well. So, kind of an even exchange. Even if you look at the GPMs, it's pretty damn even. Demented Shaman's slightly ahead of Magnus, but pretty close. So when it really comes down to it, it's a Dark Lady versus Cthulhuphant, and you'll take, if you had to exchange free farm on those two heroes, you'll kind of take that any day if you're the team with the Dark Lady, even if she's not quite on par with that Cthulhuphant. But what's really cooking my noodle right now is this Bubbles. I mean, where is his farm coming from? He is sitting 22-7. I mean, I guess he's just snaking in last hits in between like a boss here, but I would not expect him to be farming nearly as well as he is, especially in a 2v1 lane. I mean, it is mid, so that does benefit him a little bit, with the hills and kind of being within close vicinity of a tower, but still, I mean, he's really doing a great job given the lane combo he's up against.
Yeah, I totally agree. What's making me think about this Bubbles, like, look at his skill build. I've never seen something like that.
That is indeed very, very strange, and we see in the bottom lane here, we could see Demented Shaman in a bit of a pickle. Hasted Bubbles on his way in, and I think DS is definitely, I think he wrote a check that his ass can't cash is the best way to put it here. One auto attack from Bubbles going to come off. He's just going to run into the tower and tank it as long as he can, but really nowhere to go. I mean, he was stuck all the way around. Sort of an interesting choice to run into the tower, but I guess going to try and kite everyone away and allow Balfagor a few minutes of free farm here. Kind of unfortunate, but you're right. Looking at Bubbles' build now sitting level 6, he is I guess what is this, a 3-3-0? No, did he accidentally level up a stat here? He's missing a no, that makes sense. So he's 2-3-0-1. No points in take cover.
Exactly.
That's really strange.
I mean, at least one level in take cover is always good.
Yeah.
Because you can, I mean, if you can't dodge spells, you can dodge an auto attack, which hurts in the earth.
Yeah, I mean, take cover is one of those abilities that is I think it's hard to argue about it not being worth at one point at pretty much any level. Maybe not level 1, but beyond that, it's a pretty damn good skill. So I'm definitely a little bit surprised as well. Looks like Skype having a little bit of trouble. I think we might have. Are you still with us, Mr. Lowmain?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
You sounded a little robotic there, but yeah, it's fine now.
I don't know if that was your end, my end, or Skype's end, but you still sound good to me. So we can reset the call. Am I good? You sound good?
Yeah, you sound good now. It's
gotcha.
Fine.
Awesome to hear. Down the bottom lane, though, Balfagor, Demented Shaman doing what they do best. We see Balfagor dropping the minions, just pressuring this tower, and already it is at about half health. I mean, these little minions hit for 34 to 40 damage at level 6, and I think he can summon 4 at a time. Is that right? I mean, he can make quite a few of those bad boys pop out. So it's just a matter of time before this tier 1 tower falls. Just as the pushing power of the minions chipping away at it. We are going to see a port come in to try and set something up. It is only going to be an M4 though. So you talked about kind of a tri-lane with these heroes, and they may transition into something a little bit more reminiscent of that. You do see at that bottom rune, Bubbles versus Glacius. Head-to-head, unfortunately, Glacius not going to be able to come out on top there. And Bubbles will pick up the kill. Going to further his farm. I mean, look at that GPM chart. Bubbles still 330 GPM. Of course, he did pick up that kill on Demented Shaman down at the bottom, so he is sitting 3-1-0, but still, he's blow for blow with Dark Lady in farm right now, which is still just kind of boggling my mind. But, getting good work by Bubbles. I guess all it comes down to Baltazar. Well, it's missing the T. That's why it's not quite Baltazar. An interesting name. Missing a letter, I think, but it's all good. It's all good. We're not here to judge Cat Lomain. That is not the task that we are slated with today, my friend. So regardless, a fairly even game thus far. I mean, the Legion team pulling slightly ahead as the supports have been picked off a few times too many, but still with that Dark Lady, I am not too concerned. Seeing the mid Glacius taking a little bit of harassment, but down in the bottom, Tundra just kind of wandering down here. SmackDonald gonna bop his way in, gonna walk right by that Magnus. Will eat a 3.5-second arrow, but no follow-up gonna come, so he's gonna be safe and sound. Interesting to see him roaming down here to the bottom lane just to leave Cthulhuphant to free farm. I guess they really want this tower. They want to set up a few kills on the squishies down here, but kind of an interesting choice. We see in the mid, Bubbles in big trouble. Is he going to fall? No, Dark Lady not going to have the cooldowns. That's very unfortunate indeed. The action continuing down in the bottom lane. The tower does fall, and it looks like they do pick up a kill onto Valkyrie as well. Magnus is going to Lava Surge out. Will connect a stun with Tundra, and is going to be able to survive just fine. So in the mid lane as well, Dark Lady almost falling, but barely able to stay alive. So that top lane now completely empty as the lanes are getting shuffled around. And Cthulhuphant going to try and dive on Glacius here in the mid lane. Not going to be able to find him. Let's check out the action down in the bottom. Balfagor continuing to push. All 4 minions doing a hell of a lot of damage now. All 5 minions, pardon me. And just look at how fast that tower drops. That's that power of Balfagor. He's got a mana ring complete as well. So there is nothing slowing down this push. This tier 2 tower in the bottom lane is certain to fall. But now, will they overextend? It looks like they may get caught. Cthulhuphant with a double damage is going to come from the mid lane, and they're going to be in big trouble. That Obliterate going to be used, and that will be enough to secure the kill onto Tundra. Balfagor going to fall as well. And now we're going to see Demented Shaman with that cloak activated, going to be in big trouble. Oh, Cthulhuphant not going to time it quite right, but it doesn't matter. Still going to go down. Valkyrie actually going to come in for that last hit to pick up a double tap. So it ends up being a 3-for-0 exchange, but they, well, I guess they did pick up a kill on the Valkyrie, so a 2-for-3 or 1-for-3 exchange, but they did pick up 2 towers. So what do you make of that exchange there, Cat Lomain?
It certainly put them in a lead, because now Legion, if, like, let's say they gank the Valkyrie bottom now, the Legion team has no tower to port to. But of course they have the Nymphora to help, but I mean, they have no tower close. Like,
yeah. And
if they go on him bottom.
Exactly, and I mean, Nymphora not even level 6 yet, so I'm going to cross that off the list of things to assist Valkyrie with. But you're right, I mean, that's the power of pushing that really fast second-tier tower in the close lane. Now Valkyrie, I mean, at the moment at least, she's going to have some free farm, but if they try to engage on her, it's going to be hard to defend. We do see the Hellborn side just continuing to put the pressure on BxF in true BxF fashion, staying aggressive. Bubble's going to come in and do a hell of a lot of damage. Umzai going to get taken out. Balfagor going to throw the hell on New Earth. And there it is. Look at all that damage coming out. That is enough to pick up a kill. They do get the tower denied, though. Well played here by our Legion team. Bipolar will save themselves, well, a tower demolition. But all things considered, a 1-for-1 exchange. Demented Shaman for Bubbles. And they still lose that tower. As you mentioned, it's all about those access points early on. So although the deny is a minor victory, still losing that tower does hurt this early on. You know, this Balfagor definitely looking pretty strong to start things off. Let's get the GPM chart. Dark Lady still farmed away. We haven't really seen her move around a hell of a lot. She's been stationary in this mid lane, farming around 375 GPM. Now has that Sustainer in the inventory, as well as those Ghost Marchers. So it looks like she's probably going to be moving into that Runed Cleaver. Going to pick up a Invisibility Rune here down in the bottom lane, and just going to go farming away. Valkyrie has pushed the lane all the way back up, so now Dark Lady's going to have this whole lane to static farm. And there's really not much the Legion team can do about it without running all the way down. So that is those early towers they picked up really going to prove to be effective for more reasons than one. Do see a nice ultimate from Magnus here. Does pick up that kill onto Balfagor, but the tower does fall. So Kezu, despite going down, does pick up that tower kill. Demented Shaman also gets taken out in the mix. So again, sacrificing hero kills for tower kills early on. But you know, also what's great about this lineup is they're distracting this Legion team. They're forcing them to group up and stop these pushes. And yes, they're conceding some kills, but all the while, Dark Lady's been free farming. She's rotated to the bottom now, and absolutely nothing challenging her farm. So although these exchanges don't look too profitable, a tower for 2 hero kills, keeping the heat off Dark Lady may be more valuable than you know, just those pure hero kills.
I don't know. Check the XP difference. It's pretty huge since they get hero kills. I mean,
well, I mean, what do you think?
BxF
Is that point I made valid, or do you think that BxF is really not getting the better of these exchanges?
I mean, it's pretty even. but I'd say like Bipolar, they might get. I mean, they get the XP lead. Okay, they win the fights, and they're just gonna be higher levels. And I mean, Dark Lady is like paper until she gets like Shrunken Head or something else other than Ruined Axe, because she still has 800 HP.
Right. Oh yeah, I mean you're exactly right. But the matter is, do they have the pushing power to end this game before that happens? You know, we're 14 minutes in. Dark Lady is getting pretty close to that Rune Cleaver, about 1,400 gold off or so. They don't really have a pushing team. I mean, a team that is pretty well known for pushing. I see Balfagor getting taken out here, and they're going to be able to pick up their first tower kill of the game 15 minutes in. But I mean, the pace of this game, it doesn't really look to me like Dark Lady is going to have too much of a problem reaching that critical mass as far as a Rune Cleaver and Shrunken Head, and then, you know, everything past that, given the lack of pressure that she's taken so far.
Yeah, I agree.
Is the experience lead for the Legion team really that valuable compared to letting a Dark Lady free farm? I guess that's really what it comes down to.
Well, Balfagor, Glacius, and Demented Shaman is level 8, 7, and 7. And if you take a look on the Legion side, they have a level 10 Bubbles, level 10 Cthulhu, 9 Valkyrie. I mean, they're just gonna like, they can just go on like DS or Glacius in a fight, and it's instantly like a 4 versus 5.
Yeah.
I mean,
well, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good point to make. But conversely, I mean, this Legion team does have a sort of a similar situation as far as having a level 7 Nymphora and, well, now a level 9 Magmus. But, I mean, Magmus is fairly underfarmed in this game as well, kind of playing that support role. So I guess it's kind of an interesting argument about which is more valuable. And, you know, which team right now really feels like they're winning? Is it the Hellborn side because they pushed and they've gotten some Dark Lady farm? Or is it this Legion team because they're like, yeah, well, they pushed some of our outer towers, but, you know, we've been getting the better of the hero exchanges. It's 10-5. You know, which team right now is really feeling super confident about their positions? Hell, maybe both teams are feeling really confident, but it's kind of interesting how that works out. One team more focused around pushing and getting their Dark Lady farm, and the other kind of more focused around hero kills here, as we saw Sika Thulafont in the mid lane looking like he wanted to man up, but unfortunately not quite able to find somebody to connect with that trample.
yeah, I think the Hellborn team just wants to stay back and farm with this Dark Lady pickup. In the pace they are now, like Legion wants to fight. They really want to fight against these low-level supports. Check the top lane.
Yep.
Valkyrie's gonna go down. So,
Yep.
well, I mean,
there you go. Valkyrie falls. Dark Lady picks up the kill. She's going to further that farm. Dark Lady has now finished that Rune Cleaver. So, you know, she is looking pretty damn strong. Glacius actually going to get taken out down here in the bottom lane. My apologies for missing it. But in my defense, he did get taken out pretty damn quick. So, not too much time to react to that Glacius kill. But, alas, a 1-for-1 exchange. But, of course, Dark Lady picking up that kill a little bit more valuable. We'll trade Glacius for Dark Lady. Or, I guess, Glacius for Valkyrie all day long. So, certainly favorable for BxF there. But, I mean, what should we expect Dark Lady to do with item choices here? I mean, just move straight into a Shrunken Head? I guess that makes the most sense in this situation.
Shrunken Head, go. That's like, Legion team has a lot of magic damage and like lockdown potential.
Yep.
I mean, it would be really rough if she didn't get Shrunken Head.
Yeah, no, I definitely would agree. There's enough stuns and lockdowns here. Pretty much everybody has a stun of sorts and plenty of magic damage. So yeah, you're right. That shouldn't even have been a question. That's just like a no-brainer. No, you're definitely right. We're going to see somewhat of an engage here in the mid lane. Demented Shaman going to throw that heal, but Balfagor going to be in big trouble. Does have 72 charges. There's that ultimate. Going to get a huge ulti, and that will be enough to turn around the kill onto Magmus. Are they going to be able to follow up? Tundra is here. No portal key, but does have a cold shoulder and an avalanche. Bubble's going to get engaged on. Going to get silenced from Cthulhu, and down he goes. Pardon me, from Balfagor. Now Cthulhu going to go in onto Glacius. There is going to be a nice unbreakable from Demented Shaman, and now we're going to see Cthulhu in a little bit of trouble. Then a Forest Stun is going to come out. Actually, he's going to connect with a couple of heroes. Cthulhu will use that defensive charge despite getting frozen at the end. Are they going to have enough to finish him off? And they do. Hitting his back. Unfortunately, that Hookem does not absorb damage unless it's coming from the front. So running away is not going to do much when you have that Hookem activated. Not that he had too many other options, but alas, he is going to get taken down. We do see Bubbles buying back here, actually. So he is going to buy back to try and defend this Tier 2 tower, though it might be a moot point at this juncture in the match here. 19 minutes in, and it looks like this Tier 2 middle tower is going to fall at the very least, get denied. Demented Shaman going to be in some trouble, is going to be silenced. Oh no, did turn around to try and do something, but did get taken out. Balfour going to drop an ulti, and Bubbles may die for a second time, but no, beautiful line set from Magnus. Here's the ulti. Dark Lady comes in with the silence just in the nick of time. Now Magnus may find himself in a little bit of trouble. Dark Lady needs to be careful not to overcommit as she is just sitting on that rune cleaver, but wow, what timing for Dark Lady to show up to the party. She had a 6-pack in hand, and now everybody is excited, sitting with just about 3k gold in the bank. We're going to see a Dark Lady here with a shrunken head in just a matter of minutes, Mr. Lomain.
Yes, that's very dangerous for this Legion team.
So given that she's going to have this shrunken head in, say, 5 minutes, 3 minutes, whatever it is, what can this Legion team do to try and counter that? Because we talked about Dark Lady being scary once she gets those core items, and you talked about that timing where they want to fight before Dark Lady has those. But we're only 20 minutes in, and she's already kind of out of control. What can they do at this point to shut her down? If you're their coach, if we pause this game right now, you hop in their Skype, and you're going to coach them to victory, what's going to be your #1 thing to say to turn this game?
Well, I would definitely wait for the Magnus PK. He has 2,000 gold right now, and maybe try to get him 11. And Bubbles, he's going for Nullstone right now with a Sustainer. I would much rather see him go for like a Hellflower.
Yeah.
In this case, I mean, they just lack damage at this point, in my opinion. They have a lot of lockdown, but they don't have damage.
Yeah, I mean, we saw down there at the bottom rune how fast Dark Lady just destroyed Bubbles. I mean, that was like not even fair. And Dark Lady's still not really that farmed, all things considered. Like you said, the damage output now is really starting to sway in favor of the Hellborn side. But the point you made about Hellflower, I think, is especially true, because we can't forget it perplexes as well as all those other great things that it does. So if you can get that off before Dark Lady Shrunken Heads, she can't Shrunken Head for that 5 seconds. That does give you a window of opportunity where she takes extra damage, is silenced, and is also perplexed. So I guess that's how you counter Shrunken Head these days. Just pick up a couple of Hellflowers.
Yes.
Yes.
The thing you need to do.
Yes. How do you feel about Hellflower since we're talking about it here? Do you think it's a little bit broken, or do you think it's about on par?
I think the item is so broken, to be honest. I mean, I can't... It has too long range, in my opinion.
It does have very, very... I don't know what the range is off the top of my head, but it is very long. When you're in-game using it, you feel like it's longer than it should be.
Yes.
Most
of the time, I can't see the heroes Hellflowering me when they Hellflower me.
Yeah, that's...
Usually they're in fog.
Yep.
And they Hellflower me because of wards or whatever. I mean, I just hate the item.
Yeah.
Because you can't do anything but run.
Yeah. No, I think a fair portion of people would agree with you that Hellflower right now is a very, very strong item that's, you know, kind of just... Some people would say it's... Sender made a really good point that it's really strong and he doesn't like it, but he thinks it's necessary to combat some of the other things in the game, some of the other mechanics in Heroes of Newerth that are a little bit strong. So, you know, it's almost a direct port from the Dota 2 item, the Orchid, Malevolent Orchid, but Orchid actually doesn't perplex, so it doesn't really counter the Shrunken Head nearly as effectively. It doesn't counter Shrunken Head at all, actually, like it does in this game. So that is one thing to remember. You know, that perplexing part of it is really, really essential to its overall well-roundedness. But we did see a Kongor kill here, of course. Dark Lady picking up that token already with another 2,000 gold in the bank. So we've got one rich Dark Lady here sitting over 515 GPMs. That is insane, Catelyn. I mean, this Dark Lady just took off out of nowhere. We were talking about free farming, her against Cthulhu. It just, I mean, now she is just taken off. I don't even know what she's going to do with her next item. She doesn't even need another item at this point. I mean, they could probably force a team fight and just watch Dark Lady make it rain. It's pretty absurd at this point. I mean, what are you thinking? Bubbles now with a portal key, Magnus with a portal key. What do you make of it?
That's pretty good, I guess, but they can't go for Dark Lady, especially since she has the token now. Like she has a second life. She doesn't even need to use the Shrunken Head first. Like she can just die first and then use the Shrunken Head when she resurrects. I mean, they probably have to target the Method Shaman or someone else. Like you never want to target Balfagor in fights, but you really want to do because you don't want to deal with the ultimate. And if you don't happen to like kill him before his ultimate, you're all dead, kinda.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really hard for the Legion team to team fight right now. I would much rather see them like solo pushing or like do something. I mean, get the last bottom tower maybe.
I
Get
mean,
some counters up.
it seems right now that kind of like this Legion team doesn't really have a plan. You know, they have a lineup that's much more early game oriented than the Hellborn side, and they're not really. They're kind of running around. They're just farming. I mean, they still have a couple heroes farming very nicely. Cthulhufon's still above 400 GPM. Valkyrie's above 300, and Bubbles is still at 330, so they still have a couple of heroes farming very nicely, but the problem is just static farming right now at this stage in the game is so unbelievably in favor of the Hellborn side, allowing Dark Lady just to really hit critical mass, and especially since they're not farming items that really counter the Dark Lady's items. It just makes me kind of think like they don't really have a plan. They don't have that pushing power. At this point, they don't really have the team fight comp to win an easy 5v5 engage, so they can't really just group up and kind of pub train to pick up a little bit of a lead here. And they're just falling behind. I mean, if you look at the team difference in Golden Experience, they're just simply falling behind because they don't have the static farming tools to keep up with this Hellborn team. Makes me nervous. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I'm running out of things to theory craft here as far as positives for what they're currently executing as their strategy. Magnus has a portal key, and I don't think we're yet to see him use it.
Top lane.
Oh, top lane. Top lane.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was close.
It was close. They're both at full health, full mana. It was close. Oh, there it is. That's what we were talking about. And Fora gonna port up the 3-second stun. Dark Lady gonna get obliterated. Token. So you were talking about. I mean, Dark Lady. He's been spending his time. Let's QQ playing that second life, but finally he's gonna have to come back to the real world.
Yep. I mean, if they get to do that like once or twice, meanwhile Valkyrie farms. I mean, they could probably turn this game, but not really. I mean, the Dark Lady is at a point like she's gonna take over like no matter what. I think, unless BxF makes like really huge mistakes, they can't lose the game, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, that's a good thing to bring up, though. I mean, this is definitely one of these games that we've seen a couple of games recently, and the most recent one I did a breakdown on. Looking at not really why you shouldn't be too eager to give up, because there's always that chance that the other team will make that fatal misstep and turn the game around. It's not always in your hands to win, but it's almost always in the winning team to throw. And that's really an important thing to just keep in mind in competitive HoN. You see that tier 2 tower in the mid lane getting taken out in favor of the Legion side, but uh-oh, there's a Hellborn team knocking at your door. And this tier 3 tower here in the top lane going to take a hell of a lot of damage. Dark Lady sitting in the back, waiting for that opportune moment, waiting for the Hellborn team to engage. They're probably going to keep Balfagor up in the front line here. He does have that barrier idol, which he just used to sort of complement their pushing power here. So he's just going to keep making those minions, going to send them in, and this tower is eventually just going to fall from the power of Balfagor and Demented Shaman healing them as well. We see the Plated Greaves going to be used. A little bit surprised to see the Hellborn side not being a bit more aggressive here, but I guess, all things considered, they don't really need to force this fight if they don't have to. That level 2 Stormcloud, though, I think they have a pretty good window of opportunity to try and make this happen, especially with the tower this low. But both sides just looking for that opportune moment. Magnus does have that portal key, don't forget. He's in a pretty good spot to try and make something happen. Which team is going to do it, though, Catlow? Who's going to engage this?
He's spotted by the Thunderbird, though. I don't think he can initiate. They might be baiting the Magnus initiate, since they can see him with the Thunderbird at this point. I mean, BxF, I really think they're baiting the Magnus ultimate, and they're just going to back off immediately when they see him charging it. So, that's, I mean...
Waiting.
BxF just want to play it safe, I guess. That's why they're not like overextended right now.
Well, exactly. I mean, this Leech team. Oh, Valkyrie arrow, 5-second stun going to connect with Glacius. Is this their window of opportunity to try and make it happen? And nope, that stun's going to wear off, and they're not going to execute that follow-up. But here we're stuck in that conundrum. The Hellborn side doesn't want to engage uphill into a tower, and they're just doing that chip damage, just slowly chipping away. The Plated Greaves is going to be used, and this could be the final blow that finishes off the tower. Balfagor going to move up the hill, and the tower does fall. Ked's actually going to pick up that last hit, and there's that initiation. Demented Shaman going to get caught. He needs to throw out that Storm Cloud, and he is going to be able to survive. The Storm Cloud's still not coming out, but that is A-OK. The Hellborn team just annihilating right now. There's the Storm Cloud, and Dark Lady going to go in. Did use that Shrunken Head. It is now off, but she is just doing an absurd amount of damage. We see the nice man-up there from Tundra, though. Looks like it's too much of a man-up. He's going to get taken out. The Bound Die is going to drop. I'm not sure where the Bound Die ended up, but going straight into the tower. Dark Lady actually going to get taken out as well after a 2-second stun, so the Legion team showing us they are not out of this one quite yet. A couple of buybacks going to be used by Bubbles as well as Magnus here. So those buybacks proving super effective, going to allow them to save their racks. But alas, they did lose the tower. Bubbles going to overcommit, maybe? No. Oh, he is going to hop in, and not an overcommitment whatsoever. They pick up the kill onto Demented Shaman, and I'll be surprised if they don't get this kill onto Glacius. And indeed, they will not. That port's going to get interrupted, and he's going to get sandwiched. Down he goes. So this Hellborn team now going to trade 4 kills, I guess, for 2 and a couple of buybacks and that base tower. So Cat Lomain, my man, what are you thinking here as far as that exchange? I mean, in my eyes, looked like fairly even.
I say Bipolar, if they do that, like, if they can fight as well as they did here, I mean, I think they can turn this game. But I really think Bubbles needs a Hellflower. I mean, I would even sell my Sustainer at this point to get a Hellflower because it's that important. I mean, they fought really well there. They targeted the DS. I mean, it was all right. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. I mean, well, would you say the Legion team came out greatly ahead? A fairly even exchange? I mean, keep in mind now, Bubbles is out of buybacks, so that is one thing to know. Magnus used one of his, but you know, that could be a little bit scary. Kongor will be respawning relatively soon, probably within another 3 minutes or so. And this could be a little bit scary. Bubble is going to get caught here. He's going to get frozen, and he's going to get taken down. So now it is a 5v4, and he's going to be down for 60 seconds. Not even close to enough money for a buyback anyhow. But this could be the window now that BxF was looking for. Valkyrie going to take out the Ancients here, and they may just finish off this melee racks down here in the top lane.
They most likely can, because he doesn't have any buybacks, like you said. They should just group up and push the top lane right now, because it's a 4 versus 5 advantage here.
Definitely.
Like Bubbles, he's level 16, his ult does a lot of damage, he has a silence, and he has a portal key. I mean, that's like, not hold their team fight, but it's a lot. I mean,
yeah. Well, I mean, just look at the hero damage breakdown. Bubbles is leading the way with flying colors, so you can see why he's so important to the team fight mechanics here for this Legion side. We do see Valkyrie up in the bottom lane here, pushing that second tier tower, and he's going to port back. But I think these racks are going to fall no matter what they do. I don't know that they're going to be able to defend this. The creep's going to come in. Magnus going to channel that ulti though, and he's going to go down. Actually, going to use the ulti exclusively onto Glacius. Dark Lady going to come in and actually going to drop the freeze onto Dark Lady. So that's kind of a bit of a misclick there that will slow down Dark Lady's slaying power, but not to worry, they do still pick up that kill on the Magnus. Bound Eye going to come down again. Bubbles now in big trouble. The Shrunken Head going to be used. Again, I'm not sure. Oh, that eye still on the ground. Nobody has picked it up quite yet. Valkyrie going to use that ulti, and is going to be able to survive for now. Demented Shaman going to hop in and grab the eye and then push stick down to safety. So a couple of kills there in favor of the Hellborn side. Bubbles just really, I guess, unlucky. Dead, respawns, dies again, trying to defend the base. And, of course, the melee racks did fall. Now Valkyrie going to overextend a little bit here, and she's going to get taken out. LesQQ going to be the one to pick up that kill. So now it is a 4v2 situation. They're going to be able to push this mid lane. A fatal misstep from Valkyrie could end up costing them this mid tower. Possibly the mid lane of Rax as well. Certainly not enough for a buyback. Magnus will be up in a matter of seconds, though, so perhaps not as bad as I was initially thinking. Cthulhuphant going to go out here, and if he overcommits, could continue with this huge number advantage here for the Hellborn side. He's going to have to head back to the well. Magnus going to PK in. A nice line stun will hit Dark Lady. The tower going to fall, and they're going to head for the hills. Now they're going to take that tower kill and go back to friendly territory. We see Dark Lady with a Frostwolf skull now complete, and I think this is when things are going to get really dirty. Kongor is now respawned as well. If the Hellborn side can pick up a Kongor kill and give that token to Dark Lady, it's going to be rough for Bipolar here.
I think it's already rough. I mean, even without the token, I mean, this Dark Lady has crazy farm. 500 GPM. I mean, it's... I mean, she's hitting hard in the fights. No questions asked.
Most definitely.
I'm not sure.
Oh,
they can do.
What do you make of the Frostwolf skull pickup here? I mean, do you like that as sort of the first core item after Shrunken Head? Would you have preferred, you know, something a little different, maybe a Savage Mace or Lifesteal? What do you make about this choice?
It all depends on the other team, like what heroes they have. In this game, I say Frostwolf Skull is fine because they have a lot of ranged heroes on the Legion side. I mean, she doesn't wanna get kited, I guess. But when I play Dark Lady, I like to go for like Shrunken Head and full damage, like Shield Breaker, Rift Charge, maybe another Rune Cleaver, because they stack. It's just me. I built her kind of weird, but it works for me.
It works for me.
Yeah.
It's just I've heard people talk about that before. It's just sort of funny. But alas, Kongor does fall. The token ends up in the hands of Dark Lady. So, as you so properly put it, Mr. Catlomain, things were looking rough before the token. Now things are looking extra rough around the edges. But I have to admit, I'm a fan of Frostwolf Skull on hard carries. Dark Lady, Magebane, I love the Frostwolf Skull choice. Like you said, especially against an array of ranged heroes, it's just so valuable. It gives her that survivability, gives her a huge amount of damage, and that passive is just ridiculous. A 20% or 30% movement slow is really huge, and it's great against other carries for that attack speed slow as well. Like Valkyrie, who now has a shield breaker, she's hitting pretty hard. Although Dark Lady is probably going to annihilate her in a matter of a couple of seconds, so I guess maybe the slow might not be too powerful against Valkyrie, but still, strong nonetheless. Anyway, this fight is commencing. A 5-second stun going to connect with Balthagor here, and we see Les QQ going straight in, starting things off with a double tap. Magnus did land an ultimate there, it looked like, but still not so good. They're just getting steamrolled here at this point. Catlomain, I think we're getting pretty close to a GG tap out as they dive the base towers. The mid lane of Rax falls. Probably going to be able to move straight down to the bottom. As far as buybacks, it looks like Magnus does have enough for a buyback, though I don't know what he's going to be able to do if he does. The GG well playeds come out though, so Black Fade can be moving on to the semifinals after a nice win over Bipolar. So not a bad game here. Dark Lady though, showing us the definition of hard carry, Cat.
Yeah, that was really well played by BxF, I must say, because they went 4-on-5 like in the early stages and pushed towers. Meanwhile, Dark Lady free farm. That's exactly how you should execute with this lineup. To be honest, they played it really well.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. They had the 4 pushing and grouping up while keeping that Dark Lady solo, sort of distracting the other teams. They're always making that choice. Well, shit, do we focus Dark Lady or do we stop them from pushing our towers? And that's always sort of chaotic to deal with. So you're exactly right. Well played by Black Fade. So that does wrap up our streaming for today, though, guys. That is going to be our 4th and final match today here in the Fnatic Raid Call HoN Open number 2. Sorry, that sounded. I keep confusing it with the CSN Hero or CSN Heroes Play Cup. That's in my head, so I want to say that first. And I think, wait, no, wrong organization. This is Fnatic Raid Call, so my apologies. Of course, I'm Zyori. Follow me at Zyori TV on Twitter. Follow at Fnatic on Twitter. And we will be here, same place, same time, 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, 1900 CET, for the coverage to continue where we will see the semifinals. Of course, joining me was Mr. Catlomain from a team, Ling something or other.
Link's Workhouse.
Yes, there we go. So thank you for joining me for that last game, Mr. Catlomain. But any closing remarks for us here?
No, not really.
No, not really. GG, no re.
GG.